Thank you for downloading our FCA application checklist. I thought I would do a quick video just to give you a bit of help and guidance as you are completing the application checklist in readiness for your FCA application on behalf of a firm. As you'll see in the application checklist, there are a few required areas of documentation. These are the minimum document requirements that you need to submit to the FCA for authorization. The first being an overview of your business model. This can be relatively simple in terms of it's there to introduce your products, your services, how they function, and ultimately why your business is going to be successful. Because one of the key things that the regulator looks for is that firms they authorize won't go out of business quickly. They will be stable, successful. They've been burnt, if you like, in the past because of that. So they do keep a keen eye out for both financial information in terms of how you're going to finance your firm, what's the cash flow analysis looking like, do you have enough money to stay in a positive balance each month, but also realistically around your business model, is there a need for your service? Have you undertaken relevant market research to back that up? And is there something unique that gives you a place in the market? And that ultimately is what you're looking to get across in the business model overview. It also gives them background information as to what you're looking to do, what your regulated activity is going to be, and allows them to then assess the rest of your application. That business model overview will also be added to your regulatory business plan. That business plan is where you need to spend your time. It's the most important document of your application. It forms the basis of the review from the regulator and includes most of your evidence. In that business plan, you need to show that you're ready, willing, and able to carry out the regulated activity that you're applying for. And that means you need to demonstrate what your business model is going to be, why it's unique again, but also all aspects of how your business is going to work to show that you've got it properly planned out. So how are you going to market your services? How are you going to ensure those financial promotions are compliant? What is your governance framework around that? What products and services are you going to offer? How have you signed them off in line with the consumer duty? So obviously under PRIN 2A.3 under the consumer duty, you need to have a product approval process in place as part of your product governance framework. So what is that framework? How does it work? Equally, your value assessments and all the other elements of the consumer duty need to be demonstrated, almost like a walkthrough within your business plan. As part of that, you'll also define who your target market is. So who is it that you are targeting as part of your product, and how your uh, products and services are designed to meet the needs of those in your target market and reduce any harm to them. Again, that can all be part of your product governance framework. So you set that out. You set out your business structure. You set out your senior management, who your senior managers are, what experience they have, where their skills lie. Equally, you will set out key policies and procedures, such as your vulnerable customer processes, complaints processes, your compliance monitoring arrangements, which leads you nicely onto your compliance monitoring plan, which is a separate document you also need to create and submit, which we'll talk about in just a second or two. But rounding off your business plan, you've got to include things like how you'll train your staff, your recruitment processes, and of course, how you remunerate staff members. Really important to have your governance arrangements in there, as I say, because you need to be assessing the outcomes that customers are receiving, but also assessing how compliant you are against all of the policies, procedures that you're creating, and your governance processes or framework is there for you to report on those matters and take action. So again, setting that out very clearly to the regulator. A lot to do, but that is part of what they expect. Then you've got your compliance monitoring plan. That really needs to be detailed, and depending upon which individual at the FCA reviews your application, they can expect some really in-depth information, almost line by line against the rules that you need to follow. So you'll set out how you will monitor compliance against key risks. So you'll say what those risks are, including things like conflicts of interest, financial crime risks, and your standard compliance risks for the type of activity that you are applying for. Identify those risks, identify how you monitor at the first line, at the second line, at the third line, how often the checks occur, how they occur, and where the reporting off the back of those checks goes, and including how you will remedy any issues that you identify. It's a really important part of your application that is scrutinized in detail. Then, for every senior manager you have in your firm, you will need to apply for them individually because it's not just the firm that gets authorized, but it's also senior managers, the key decision makers within the organization under the senior managers regime. They'll be identified in your regulatory business plan, and then you need to put together an application for each of those individuals, which includes a statement of responsibility. It includes a fit and proper assessment that needs to cover fit 2.1 to 2.3 and factor in their regulatory references, criminal record checks as well. Then you identify where there may be any gaps with their skills, because it's unlikely that you will have the perfect senior managers with all the experience and skills that you need. It's okay to have some gaps. In fact, it's generally seen as positive. So you identify through a skills gap analysis where those couple of areas are. Then you have a training plan to demonstrate to the regulator how those gaps will be remedied. So you need to do that for each senior manager, the key decision makers. You attach them to your FCA application, which is done in the FCA's Connect system. And then you also attach your company financial analysis, again, demonstrating how you are going to stay solvent and manage your cash flow over the first few years. So that's the key things to put together. Our checklist is designed to help and guide you on that journey. But just remember that we do have templates for all these documents, particularly the regulatory business plan, which is about 50 pages worth of detailed information. We have templates that, they've all been passed through the FCA multiple times. So we know they're up to standard and can be a great starting point for you to start to create your business plan, your compliance monitoring plan, etc. from. So if you do want to get hold of those, of course, they can be purchased from our website. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out and we'll be happy to respond.